Thanks for tuning in for a deeper dive on my blog, The How-To Gun Girl. The last time you heard from me, we walked through an exploratory network analysis of my blog's Facebook page. Using Gephi, I looked at engagement with my page's fans to see what I was doing well and what I wasn't. Just one post got significantly more attention than anything else I've shared by a long shot. This indicated to me that in addition to refining my everyday posts to be more engaging, I needed to learn what makes a Facebook post go viral. So I got to work researching what makes content popular on Facebook. What I discovered was a little disheartening. Since 2013, when Facebook introduced a machine learning newsfeed algorithm, non-paid post engagement has decreased dramatically. At the same time, the share of businesses that use Facebook has increased, and those business pages that boost their posts has also increased. This is not great news for me with regard to building my brand on Facebook, since I operate my website on a shoestring budget. Another way to summarize the data about Facebook as a means of reaching a bigger audience can be summed up in my qualitative research. Multiple bloggers and podcasters advised to use Facebook and other social media platforms with caution. The moral of the story was, don't build a house on rented land. Instead, I should focus on creating content and achieving goals for the space that I control, which is thehowtogungirl.com. Blogger Michael Hyatt, whose site boasts over 200,000 unique visitors each month, put it this way: a killer blog post is something that people want to read and share. Pretty simple, right? So now I'd like to dive into both content and traffic to figure out what it is that people want to read and share. In order for people to consume and share my content, I need to get people to my site. The term traffic refers typically to unique users on a given site. It can also be known as page views. I use Google Analytics to track traffic on my site. In 2017, 819 unique users spent an average of 1 minute and 48 seconds on the site. Of these users, 82% are new to the page, and only 18% have returned to read my blog again. I think this is an area that I can improve with more engaging content. The users who visit the How-To Gun Girl are finding me through a few channels. Organic search refers to Google or other search engines directing a user to my site. Social includes Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Direct refers to people who type in my website to go directly to it, and referral is the category for everyone who gets to my site by clicking a link on another site that isn't included in social. The data are colored by bounce rate. This refers to the percentage of users who visit only one page on my site, then leave. While I get more new users through social networks and organic searches, about 80% of those sessions are limited to only one page on the site. Bounce rate is kind of like a measure of engagement. The longer someone stays on the page, the more pages they click through and the more engaged they are in the content. Moving from traffic to content, I want to determine what it is that people want to read. Since I have a niche website, I need to make sure I have the right keywords and phrases to attract the audience who's interested in what I write about. I downloaded the content of my website in an XML file. I used Voyant to get a word count of the most popular words, then added these to Tableau. This word cloud shows the most popular words on my site, sized by usage count. What stands out to me about this is that there are not many niche terms that show up here. Perhaps my traffic is low because I'm not standing out to the audience I want. I then compared the top 16 words on my blog to what Google AdWords Keyword Manager expects monthly search results. The tree map is sized based on Google searches and colored based on the count of terms in my blog. This tree map shows just how popular the Olympics are, garnering 30,400,000 Google searches a month. Those terms are less popular on my blog than the terms shooting and rifle, which show up in blue. I've already got some next steps in place. For one, I redesigned my homepage to include more interesting images for each of the categories I write about. Here's what it looks like now. I also tried to direct users into 3 categories to include a lot of links for them to click through, depending on their interests. I'm also in the process of changing my keywords. I want to make sure I'm hitting on popular terms for the audience that I want. This will be a long and iterative process to capture the audience that I want, but I've got to start somewhere. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you all at thehowtogungirl.com.